Hey Spice Droppers, it's Charlie from Ferndale. The Lions lost in stunning fashion in the NFC Championship game. But still, we must rise, Spice Droppers, and make delicious Super Bowl appetizers for all of our friends. Obviously, this is a take on spinach pie, but I am in no way suggesting that this is anywhere close to authentic Greek spanakopita. Case in point being, we're going to start by cooking 8 strips of bacon. You can cook this however you like, just make sure it's crispy in the end. I like to put mine in the oven at 375 for about 20 to 25 minutes. So the first thing we're going to do is take very little oil and put it in a pan, get that up to heat, and then we're going to add 1 chopped onion to that. Pretty fine chop. It doesn't need to be super small because it is going to wilt down when we're translucitizing it, which is what we're going to do. Alright, after a couple minutes, those onions should be softer, translucent, and they're starting to brown a little, so that's going to add some more flavor to that. Now I'm going to go ahead and add 2 to 3 chopped cloves of garlic. And these will only take 30 seconds or so to get that fragrance out. And then once that happens, you can mix them into these onions, turn the heat off. And now I'm going to take a bowl with some paper towel, and we'll dump these in there. Because in this recipe, moisture is our enemy. So these are in this bowl here. We're going to push this paper towel down on that, get as much moisture out of there as we can. Now for this next part, I have this strainer here over a bowl. You can do this over your sink. You can do it any way you want. This is probably the easiest way. I'm going to take some cheesecloth and put it over that. I would definitely recommend the cheesecloth even if you don't have the strainer. I have 2 8-ounce packages of frozen chopped spinach that I'm going to throw in there. I have 1 14-ounce can of fire-roasted diced tomatoes. And I'm going to take our onion and garlic mixture and throw it on there as well. Now you can see before we even pushed it how much liquid came out of there. So we're just going to grab this and smush and get all the liquid we can out of here. And there's a ton in that frozen spinach. So take your time doing this. Make sure to get as much as you can out. If you need to refresh your cheesecloth, please feel free to do that. You could also take if you have a double mesh strainer, you could push down with a spoon on that. Just whatever you can to get all that moisture out. So this is going to take a few minutes. By the time we're done here, that bacon will be ready and we can start to mix it all together. Okay, now just for reference, I have the bacon out of the oven resting on some paper towel. We're going to take as much of the grease out of this as we can. It's going to crisp up nicely while we do that. And while that's cooling, we can put together everything else. So I have this lovely cheesecloth full of these veggies. We're going to toss those into there. And you can see by that ball of veggies how dried out we got it. I have 4 ounces of cream cheese. Squeeze that in. I have 2 eggs here that I mixed together lightly. I'm going to hit it with some crushed red pepper. You don't have to add that. I just like that little bit of kick in there. Pepper. And we're going to do a couple pinches of salt in here. And now I'm going to add 1/8 cup of breadcrumbs. And that's going to help keep that moisture from messing with the phyllo dough when we start building these. And now we're just going to take a spoon and mix this all together. So once this is mixed up, that bacon should be cooled down so we can add that. I mean, who are we kidding? I was trying to be nice and civilized, but I ended up putting a glove on to mix this because it's so much easier. Okay, I cooled that bacon off. It's crispy now. I took as much of the grease off as I could with the paper towels. Now I'm going to take that, cut that up. We want it to be cut pretty finely, so make sure to go over this multiple times with your knife. Get it to almost bacon bit size. You know, we don't want this ripping through the phyllo dough when we're wrapping it or anything. So make sure that it's very fine pieces. And I don't know how I forgot this, but while we're mixing all this in, I'm going to add 1/3 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese to this. Don't ask me how I almost forgot cheese. I love cheese. But we're going to add that anyway, mix it up, and we're ready to start stuffing the phyllo now. First thing I'm going to do is take my baking dish and spray it with some cooking spray. Now for the phyllo dough, I melted down 1/2 stick of butter because we're going to be using a lot of butter on this. Now we take our dough, it's been thawed out overnight, and while it's still in the packaging, I'm going to cut it into thirds. Now if you do want bigger triangles, you could cut it in half, you can cut it smaller if you want, but I think thirds are pretty good size for a bite-sized treat. And obviously if it's not exact, it really doesn't matter. So now we're going to take one of our thirds and roll it out. And this stuff is very fine, so you have to be pretty careful with it. And if it does tear at all, it really doesn't matter because we're going to be rolling it and layering it anyway. So now that it's rolled out, I'm gonna take one sheet, bring it over here, and then I'm gonna take a damp towel and cover these ones so that they do stay moist. I'm gonna take a brush and brush this one with butter. Now we're gonna take another one, and see, that just kind of tore in my hand anyway. Put this on top of this one. Oh man, I'm messing this up. Tore there again. Again, doesn't matter. Stuff's tricky. Tab that. Remember to cover this again. And now we're gonna take a little spoonful of our mixture and put it in one of the corners here. About a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more. And now we're gonna fold it like a flag or like a paper football, but do kind of smush it down so that it gets to all the edges. And we're just gonna fold that down to the bottom. Push it down. Take this, put it in our baking tray, flap side down, folded side down. And then again, take another damp towel and just cover that. So I'll just keep doing this until your stuffing's gone. All right, I got my first tray ready to go. So before I put them in the oven, I'm gonna just dab the top with some more butter. And I will say, I melted down half a stick. I will probably need a whole stick to finish this. But once these are all buttered up, I turn the oven down to 350. So we're gonna bake these at 350 for about 20 minutes or until lightly golden brown on top. And you'll see how crispy and flaky and delicious these things get. All right, Spice Droppers. I actually had them cooking for about 30 minutes in there, but they look delicious. They're bubbling. We're gonna give these about 5 minutes to cool down, and then we can try them. All right, Spice Droppers. We really did it again with these, I can already tell. I got the second batch in the oven. I did just have just enough stuffing for 2 batches, so I made 24 total. Let's try this, and I wanna get close so you can hear it. Oh man, oh, those are phenomenal. Spice Droppers, peace and love. I love you.